third finalist is the team EquIpE from IIM Rohtak. Please welcome on stage Ms. Tejaswini BK and Mr. Sainath Duvuru.
In the case we consider only the raincoat plant, which is in the district of Pune in the state of Uttar Pradesh. We mainly focus on 3 points: to reduce the long delivery time, to reduce the high logistic expenses without compromising services, and effects of altering the current supply chain and logistic architecture. Single mode of transport means using single means of transport, transporting the goods and services from one place to another, either by trucks, railways or ships. And then in this case we consider railways as a single means of transport. The main advantages of this single mode of transport is minimized multiple handling of container. The number of times the loading and unloading of the container takes place is reduced, and which in turn reduces the lead time. And there's no retention at the ICD Kanpur, and we skip the loading and movement of the container to the ICD, which decreases the route distance. And because we have only limited number of loading and unloading operations, we can employ our own employees to supervise the operations. And this reduces the cost to a greater extent, and also due to the minimized number of loading and unloading operations, there are reduction in the coordination and search costs, which reduces the number of invoices per single order.
So let's look at what are the kind of source of invoice here. Initially, when the container is loaded to the truck, invoice is generated, and also invoice is generated for the transport charges from raincoat plant to ICD Kanpur. Similar invoices are generated at unloading point at ICD Kanpur, and if there is any sort of detention at ICD Kanpur. So, and when we are considering rail freight, invoices are generated for loading of container to rail freight, and also for the transport through rail freight, and at the port for unloading. So when we are considering multi-mode transport and single mode, all these source of invoices are generated in multi-mode of transport, whereas only the invoices which are related to trains, rail freight are done in single mode of transport. So let's analyze the present multiple mode of transport at raincoat plant and the single mode of transport. From raincoat plant, the containers are loaded into trucks and they are moved to ICD Kanpur. This is approximately 440 kilometers. And from ICD Kanpur, they are loaded into the freight trains and they are moved to Kolkata port. This is approximately 1040 kilometers, which comes to 1500 kilometers. And when the proposed single mode of transport, we are moving a container directly loaded into freight rail, and we are moving to directly Kolkata port. This is approximately 860 kilometers. This route is via Ranchi. And as you can see from the figures, it clearly states that we have advantage of 600 kilometers in distance, and we are converting into distance travel time. This comes to be around 2 hours, considering 50 kilometers per hour as the average time. And when you convert it to monetary value, it comes up to be something around 869 rupees per ton. And if you consider it as 15 ton rate, 15 ton as a value of weight of consideration, it saves around 13,000 rupees. And if you see what are advantages and disadvantages of railways over road, the first idea comes to our mind is safety and security. Yes, railways are more secure and safe and secure. We have few facts to support our data. In the year 2011, we had 4.97 lakh accidents as compared to only 139 consecutive accidents in train. And also the carrying capacity, the railways have much more enormous carrying capacity. They can carry up to 400 tons. And also the carrying capacity is more elastic. That means we can increase or decrease the wagon carrying capacity by adding or removing wagon. And it's more cheaper, reliable. The total route length is 64,000, and also the railway network is around more than a lakh kilometers, with 38,000 of them is electrified. This is more greener mode of transport, and also it's more stable because the freight charges of railways are more stable as compared to roadways which are fluctuated through diesel changes. And yes, the cost of capital required for laying a new line is 40% cheaper as compared to the comparable modes of transport, that's expressways. And if you see here, the carbon emissions in road is much more as compared to railways. This makes it much more greener and then sustainable for future.
Coming to its disadvantages, main limitation for the rail network is its rail network. If we want to reach any new destination, we need to lay down the new rail lanes, which is much costlier than that of the trucks, which uses minimum infrastructure. And in the case of accidents and natural calamities, we don't have any alternatives for the parallel rail tracks to reach the destination. As it is a known fact that India has the second largest road network in the world, which comes to around 4.1 million kilometers. The length of the national highways is around 71,772 kilometers, which is lesser than the rail network, as mentioned. And the routes and timings cannot be flexible for the railways. To overcome these disadvantages, Government of India has introduced the concept of dedicated freight corridor in its 10th five-year plan. Its main objective is to increase its market share in the rail freight by creating additional capacity which guarantees efficient, reliable and the cheaper services. By modifying the basic features in its existing carrying capacity, it can give us a significant improvement. And it has also increased the speed from 75 kilometers per hour to 100 kilometers per hour. Its main objectives are to increase the rail market share as mentioned earlier, and then to create additional rail infrastructure to address the increasing demand. And then there's an introduction of the timetable freight services, just like customized services for each and every corporation. But it has to be informed to them before a month. And then introduction of the high-end technology which enables us to know the freight services. And then there's a separation of the both passenger railway lines and also the freight railway lines, and reduction in the unit cost of transportation. And here are the proposed additional features of DFC on existing railway lines. By modifying the basic design features in height and width, they have increased the container stack to a double stack, and which increases the train length. To maintain the stability, it has been increased to 1500 meters. It in turn increases the train loading capacity to 15,000 tons from 4,000 tons, which is present.
As you know, the DFC is in the phase of construction, and the completion of DFC will enhance the freight handling capacity by reaching the objectives. The completion of DFC will add something around 9,400 kilometers of existing railway network in 6 different freight corridors, namely Western, Eastern, East-West corridor, North-South corridor, East Coast corridor, and the Southwest corridor. And as you can see from the figure, we are considering only Eastern and Western corridor. That will be shown in the map here. These two phases are in the completion by 2017 and 2016. As we can see from the map, the red line shows the eastern corridor and blue line shows the western corridor. And most of our 6 plants are located very close to this eastern and western corridor.
We try to analyze the railways as single mode of transport, and railways are competitive. Speed, security and safety gives the railways competitive advantage over roadways. And railways are lesser effective when compared to roads. Because of its limited network, and which is overcome by the dedicated freight corridor. And railways are reliable because of the reduced lead times, and railways are lesser responsive when compared to the roadways.
When we consider the cost efficiency and stability, the prices in railways are more cheaper and also stable to the prices. And next, in the quality of service, because being railways as a PSU, it has a set of quality service and operating procedures, which can give standard quality to the consumer. And next, flexibility. The railways are less flexible as compared to roadways, but flexibility can be injected into the system by having proper coordination with the local railway officer. And this graph shows the increased investment infrastructure. As compared to the 10th five-year plan of $1,000 billion rupees in railways. In 11th five-year plan, we have invested 2,000 rupees, and it's proposed that we will be investing something around 5,000 billion rupees in 12th five-year plan. Increased investment will help us in enhancing the freight handling capacity and also make the railways much more safer and reliable.
Efficient versus responsive supply chain. Using railways as a single mode of transport, it serves as an efficient supply chain because of the involved set of procedures and systems. And multimode transport is a responsive supply chain because of the flexibility to meet the uncertainties in demand.
So So how can we make an efficient supply chain system more responsive? Yeah, we can make it more responsive by increasing the coordination within, not only within Hindalco but also between Hindalco and the railway department. Also next, we can integrate the key account customers requirement in the production planning. This will enable us in planning your material requirement plan initially and make any changes required. Next, we are proposing, introducing anticipatory shipping and also developing warehouses closer to the port. So what is anticipatory shipping? Anticipatory shipping is dispatching the product to the consumer before the consumer places the order. So by the time the shipment reaches the warehouse, we will receive the order from the consumer, and if we are not able to convert this shipment into the supply, we can use this for loading to the inland documents, inland people and other consumers. So what we should ensure here is proper sorting of data of our key account holders with respect to product classification and also with the export code. This also what anticipatory shipping involves analyzing the past data of consumer behavior and customer needs with the data analytics. Thank you.
Here you are not mentioned the quality of the product will be better as compared to truck. Because there are no thefts, nothing, because you are booking from your own factory and you are locking it. It is a greater advantage, otherwise you will send to the trucks and truck driver may take because different transporter are there. Thank you.
Somewhere in your presentation you have mentioned railway is PSU. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Is it correct? Yes.
So it's a public sector undertaking with 51% stake.
Is it PSU? Public sector undertaking?
And most of the rule.
My question. Are you sure?
So it has some other stakeholders, but we consider most of them it's public sector.
So you don't think it is a direct government department? PSU means it is government. That is your impression, isn't it? Public sector undertaking means government.
And not necessarily totally 100%.
As HRD, as IIM is a government funded, they have to meet these government rules. PSU, this Secure India, say SAIL, and Railway same.
I mean, we meant it has its own set of rules and procedures.
And this invoice issue, somebody, my friend asked this question. Here also you have gave a table, full of invoices. Even detention is also invoice. In what way?
Sir, if you want.
Because invoice, as far as I understand, it's a question of document. Passing on to the next party. Right? Contract type of things. Right? Correct. So, there is a table where you have ticked and crossed. One of these items, if I recall correctly, detention. How detention can be invoiced?
Same question to you here also about the invoicing and documentation. Is it by assumption that one transaction is equal to one invoice, or you have again referred somebody and tried to know? Because if it's a contract, probably multiple transactions can have one invoice. You can raise a quarterly invoice, you can raise an annual invoice, you can raise only one invoice for 1 year. As far as there is no, as far as only the. So again, question here is, was it some assumptions, or you could consult somebody, or you could try and understand?
I'll take his answer and then I'll come. Sir, actually, detention, what we can say, like, if you want to wait at a port, they are normally charged.
Waiting at a port does not come into the picture.
Sir,
it is between this port and the plant, as I understand, if I am not wrong.
Sir.
It is the movement between port and plant. In one case it is bimodal, the other is single. So it's a comparison between these two.
Sir, when I'm using any premises, so definitely I'll be charged for waiting time. Even your car driver will charge for waiting time. Sir,
What type of map you are waiting?
see,
Which premise you are waiting? You are waiting at your plant?
In ICD Kanpur. This is in ICD Kanpur. Detention to ICD Kanpur. It's not in my plant. It's in ICD Kanpur. ICD Kanpur is not my own plant, my own area.
What do you mean understand by that invoice, detention invoice? Means you have to pay there if you wait there, or it is rent.
So normally, when we are waiting at other premises, they may charge us.
Do you mean by invoice here payment?
Yeah, payments. So when you are making payment.
It is a payment. Invoice, you mean payment.
So when you are paying, definitely you will receive an invoice. Receipt, invoice.
Receipt and invoice are not same.
So when you are transferring the receipt.
Receipt, invoice, these all are different.
Okay.
From there you can have a road truck to lift it. Not a detention for issue. There is no need to pay detention.
Hello.
So apart from detention, I work for Bharat Petroleum, where we used to raise invoices for when a rail freight is coming to the siding, we have invoice, and when we have double invoice, one for railways, one for us. And when we are loading the same product, petrol product to truck to be loaded into retail outlet, so we have three invoices, one for the company, one for transporter, and one for the retailer. So these are the.
So, in Bharat Petroleum, they are using SAP, correct?
Yeah, they are using SAP.
So, how does it matter even having three invoices? Are they going to charge for each invoices? No.
So, when we.
It's only 3 copies you are telling, or what?
It's 3 copies.
So, reducing 3 copies to 1 copy without any charge, how does it matter?
Sir, each and every state, agency should have its own document.
So, okay, documentation is not an issue.
Otherwise you will end up paying three times.
No, you see,
All the colors are different.
a very important point is which somehow all the things which have preceded you also have not captured properly. The invoice is a document between supplier and the customer. If there is no change between the supplier and the customer, there is going to be only one invoice, immaterial of how many copies you have. And immaterial of whatever is the mode of transport, be it railways, truck, ship, air, whatever that be. Invoice will be only one. The invoice number will be only one. As per Dr. Bhushan's question, railways is not a PSU. Railways is a ministry, it's a government department. It has got its own budget presented in the parliament. It is no PSU. PSU is a company, is a commercial enterprise. Whereas railways is looked upon as a public enterprise under the government of India, completely 100% owned, not 51%. So unfortunately, all your predecessors also committed this mistake of having multiple invoices. What multiple invoices? Yes, Hindalco can have a depot in JNPT and Kolkata. There, of course, they will raise an invoice in favor of their depot. They need not to raise the invoice also. They can just make a stock transfer note. Stock transfer note. They need not, because it does not say. It's their own company. From one location of the company is going to another location of the company. Once the sale takes place, the question of invoice comes. And if the buyer is known and the seller is known, the invoice is going to be only one, not 2 or 3 or multiple. Sorry. Please correct yourself.
You were focused that much on invoice.
Hello?
Is there double stack container service available in that?
Sir, we are considering only dedicated freight corridor where available, we can make it double stack.
Will it have a double stack service?
Yes, sir, there is the proposal of DFC.
At present, where do you have this double stack container service?
And DFC is not into existence.
I'm talking about double stack container. Is it there in India at present?
You choose a route that is Bokaro route, that is one of the most busiest routes.
Sir, dedicated freight corridor,
That you have calculated for 50 kilometers per hour. I mean, it's okay.
the dedicated freight corridor is, it's a different route which is being constructed, apart from the existing railway line. So all the calculations are based on that route.
When you consider double high, you have to check the quality, whether it will fall from there, you have to check the stability of the product. Otherwise, it is stacking non-sure to fall. I don't know.
That's what, sir. The basic features of the rail track has been changed for this. That's there in the presentation. And the width and height of the rail, each rail is changed. So even so as you can see in the table, the height of the existing is only 4.265, but it's proposed to be 7.1 by increasing the width of the platform of the each rail. So this helps in making it more stable and carrying double strain.
Have you studied if we are sending material from Hindalco plant to directly seaport by truck, single truck container? Probably that will be the cheapest one. Also, if you could have studied that.
I'll add to his this one. In Karnataka, Hindalco and Jindal and all that, they are using 80-tonner trucks for shipment. So that was the, I agree with him that this study should have been done from the location which you said to JNPT, whether you have the road proper availability, because Karnataka and Maharashtra are well connected with the road. So in this case, they are finding that 80-tonner trucks are better, the Volvos and Mercedes-Benz.
If you know they use road transport.
Yeah.
Although they have taken
when Hindalco was started, probably that time truck load capacity was limited to 16 ton or that much only. So that time it was limitation, and load was not very good. But right now everything is okay. If you could have considered truck directly from their plant to the seaport, then it would have been compared all these three.
Actually, in the case we were asked to analyze, multimodal transport with road and railway. And
that could be also single one only.
Yes.
So one truck.
I have a question for you. By how many days was the lead time reduced? Suppose for a standard 400 tons by road by multi-trucks, or at the same time one driver. So
in our
calculation, you can tell me number of days that this is what the number of days the lead time is reduced.
In our calculation, we got to know that total travel time will be reduced by 12 hours. But 12 hours. But as we read I read in an article where the average number of days, average number of kilometers traveled by a single truck in a day is something around 200 kilometers. So if you consider that as a 200 kilometers per day as a lead time, we will save something around 3 days as a lead time.
I want to understand what is your final recommendation. What you want to finally say?
So we are recommending, from Raincoat plant directly, we can load the container to freight rail at the Raincoat siding,
Okay.
and then it will be moved to Kolkata port and nearest port.
Okay. You're not talking about dedicated freight corridor.
The
Right?
dedicated freight corridor is not in existence. It will be existence at 2016 and 17. And also, a few companies will have,
So that is future. So as of now, for the case is concerned, immediate implementation is concerned, you are saying follow the railroad.
Railroad.